You good, Moose?
You ready, Arthur? Go ahead.
We play, obviously, got Duke tomorrow, just to clean up the game from Tuesday on Clemson. Looking back, I know Kelly and Ken, we talked about in the post game, man, we had some great looks. I don't know if you guys, you're not watching, you're not replaying the game, but I mean, you were looking back like, woo, man, we had some good looks. And I'd say this as a staff, we prepared. You're breaking everything down, but in the end, if you're 4 for 23 from three, all the scheme stuff doesn't always. It doesn't. You got to just put the ball in the basket and some of those things. So, we've got after it Wednesday. Had a great practice Wednesday. Thought we had a really good practice yesterday. Had a great energy. I thought today, I thought we were solid. We were kind of banged up, and but we went hard. So try to be ready to go for Saturday tomorrow versus a really good Duke team, and Duke's obviously as talented as anybody in the country, and we'll need to play really well if we want an opportunity to win the game. Lance Terry's still out, and we've had a couple guys banged up that weren't able to practice today, and so I'm hoping they'll be okay for tomorrow. But we were a little bit of the MASH unit today in practice, but we need to continue to get better, continue to compete, in practice, and obviously the contact is just part of the deal.
When you go through those 2 and 3 minute scoring droughts, do you have a player or two that you want to put the ball in their hands? And
the player or two that gets the ball in their hands during that time hasn't put the ball in the basket. So, look, I think breakdown. I think, and I've said this. Our guys are, we got great group of guys, and they're good players. We are very young. There's just no denying that we are young. However, basketball, about 80 to 90% of the game ends up being breakdown offense. You can run your plays, but in the end, you just have sometimes guys that just go get you a bucket. And we just have struggled in that this year. Just sometimes guys just being able to just go get you a bucket, or when you're stuck a little bit, just can go get you a bucket. And we've had those guys that could do that in the past. We just don't have it right now, unfortunately, where maybe you just clear it out, let them just go get a bucket and find a way. So we've got to be really good at manufacturing what we've got to manufacture, whether it's offensive rebounding and transition. We've been good in those two areas. It's that middle part, as I've mentioned, in that half court. We've got to we've got to be better there in being able to score.
Do you look at changing things in your half court offense and schematically? How much can you do in the middle of the season in terms of changing up what you're doing? And obviously it seems like you're moving away a lot from the elbow action over the last couple games, but just what can you do to manufacture, buckets offensively without being able to make a wholesale change in the middle of the season?
Kelly, I've tried to, and you're right, we've tried to do a little more, trying to score more in the paint even, but try to do a little more stuff high-low and some different things like that. A couple things. One, we've been a very good offensive rebounding team, and that has saved us in times when we haven't been able to score. Two, we have been good in transition offense, but teams are actually doing a pretty good job in knowing that we're trying to get fast in transition, getting back in transition defense. Three, the third thing I would tell you, Kelly, is you got to score from the free throw line. That's a big problem, that we don't get to the free throw line enough. And I don't know, is that us? Is that our players? Not, or is that the officials? And again, I'm not nothing blaming the officials. I just think we should get to the free throw line more, and it's probably a combination. I think there's been times where things, we're driving and we should be getting to the free throw line, and then some other times maybe we're not initiating the contact. But I think we drive the ball a lot, and we don't get to the line enough. And that is a problem of when you're struggling to score. You need to score from the free throw line. So I've been disappointed. I'll keep it in a general statement. I've been disappointed that we have not got to the free throw line more this year, last year. That's just it's mind-boggling to me. But we've got to score more from the free throw line. We have to.
If I can follow up on that, I would think it's practice to send stuff to the league and say, hey, what do you think about this? What are the officials' rulings? And I'm curious, kind of, is there anything you can tell us about what you've heard that
Yeah,
informs your thinking?
Look, I mean, and I've said this before. You know, like I have nothing but great respect for our officials and for Brian Kersey. I mean, nothing but the highest level of respect. And you know, the unattainable goal for officials is we all, as coach, you all want them to be. We want the officials to be perfect. You know, but that's unattainable. It's not. There's no such thing. So they're human. They're human beings. There's going to be some mistakes are going to be made, but there's no question that I'm. You know, I'm in contact a lot with Brian Kersey, and we have a lot of talks and discussions. We send clips, but that all being said. I do think we have a really good group of officials. Obviously, when you're not winning, I think the coach is not going to always agree with the officials. I think that's just part of sports. But I have nothing but respect for the highest level respect for our guys in this league, our guys and gals in this league, and because we got really good officials. And so, but for whatever reason, and I think maybe it's a combination of both. We're just not getting to the free throw line enough, and that's we just got to. Hopefully we can find a way to get to that line more. But yes, I've had a lot of discussions and communications with Brian Kersey, and everything's respectful. I mean, it's just, things that, hey, what do you think about this, Brian? Or I send this clip and tell me what you view in these clips, and then we can have discussions, and Brian's very fair and tells it like it is.
Does not having Lance Terry make that situation even worse? Because he seems like he's been the strongest guy going to the hoop.
Rod, we don't have any margin for error. Missing Lance Terry doesn't help our margin for error one bit. We need Lance.
You were 8 off from the bottom right now in free throw attempts in ACC. I think Notre Dame and someone else is below you, and you were last year. And then you were in the middle of the pack the 2 years you guys were good, and then you were last like the year before that where you were bad again. Is it just anything in particular you put your finger on as to what the trend is there? Is it the lack of? I
just think maybe the officials liked me more when I was wearing a face shield. You know what I mean? Maybe is that what it is, Moose? I mean, maybe, I don't know. No, I don't know. This is on the officials. I mean, again, there's some calls I could disagree with the officials, and that's just, that's just part of it. But in the end, we're not getting it done. It's just, yes, there's some times I'm going to disagree with the officials. There's going to be some times I'm going to send clips to Brian Kersey and say, I don't agree with this call, I don't agree with that call. But the overall thing, and there might be here or there is a situation that you think, well, if that call was made right or whatever it may be, things have changed. But the bottom line, the overall situation, Kelly, is that we're just not getting. We've got to play better. We're playing hard. That's not the issue. We're playing hard. Guys are playing as hard as they can. We as a team have to play better. We have to play better, and we've got to score better. And we got to make our open shots, and we got to keep attacking the rim. And when we get an opportunity, we've got to hopefully if there's a 50-50 call, or hopefully the officials see it, that the proper call is called and we're able to get to the free throw line. So, but we've got to play better. That's the bottom line. We as a team have to play better.
Is Tristan?
He'll be able to play tomorrow.
Okay.
He'll be. He's healthy enough to play.
All right, but you're saying apparently there's others who may not play.
Well, Davon wasn't able to practice today he had a back issue. Rodney has a hip issue. He was able to practice, but it was really tender. So. Miles Kelly had hurt his ankle yesterday in practice going for a rebound, so he was in and out with his ankle. But I'll know more tomorrow when we shoot around tomorrow morning. But the one I know that's not playing is Lance. That's 100%.
You have a couple of freshmen we haven't heard much about. How are they practicing and how are they progressing?
No, those guys, Freds and Curl, are good players. They're getting better. I mean, man, I would like to give them time and get them in. Just, you're trying to win every possession, and I just haven't done it. I haven't put them in a, but everyone's got to stay ready because everyone's got to be ready to go.
When you look at the shooting aspect of it, I mean, guys like Miles Kelly and Debo Coleman, obviously highly rated recruits, guys that have shown they could shoot the ball at times. Do you feel like it's a pressure thing? Like they're getting in their heads at times? Is there maybe pressure from you? They're sensing pressure from your stress or the staff stress, and it's snowballing on them. Is there anything in particular you can put your finger on if you put on your psychology hat and as a coach to try to figure it out?
I think, it's interesting, and I know we've talked about this, but you got to remember that one year, Jose, we were talking about this. He missed I think it was 5 straight. Was it 5 straight games where he didn't hit a three? For 6 games. Yeah. So, I also think, and again, I don't want to come off Kelly at all as making an excuse. I'm not at 1 second. I want to be clear about that because we got to do it. We got to win with what the players that we have. But a lot of those guys are young. They are, they're young, and so it's a different role for Debo this year, and it's a different role for Miles and different role for Jalen Moore, different role for Davon Smith. And Davon's had, I think, 3 of the last 5 games, he's had 10 rebounds, which is pretty cool. 3 times the last 5 games, so pretty good. But, some different roles for the guys, Kelly, and I'm sure, look, there's no doubt there's pressure. I'm sure they sense it. But, I'm trying to, all they can do is you can't not have them and I encourage them when they're open, let it go. They got to shoot the ball with confidence. And because you can't turn down those wide open threes. In fact, Miles turned down 1 or 2 of them that was wide open. I got on him on a rebound. I said, man, you got to shoot it. He goes, well, Coach, I said, I don't care. Miss 10. If you can't turn that down with as good of a shooter as you are, because then you turn it down and then we don't get that type of great look later in the clock. You're open, I'll take my chances. You're too good of a shooter. Eventually it's going to fall, and who knows when it's going to fall. I pray that it falls tomorrow.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moose, I don't think I said anything to get myself in trouble.